Hey guys, welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe and I'm joined by Nathan. And this week we're talking about, guess what? More anime. We have been on anime hype recently. I think this is like our third episode where we've just talked about anime.
Yeah, 3 or 4, but I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the last one was another Netflix anime. Last episode was Dandelion. One before was Let's Go Karaoke. But this week we are talking about a manga we've actually talked about before on the channel, I believe. And this time we are here to review the anime of it, and that is, of course, Akane Banashi. How are you, Nathan?
Woo, I'm good. Hyped, man. Hyped. Because we love this series, brother. We love this series.
It is a real... I think we both thought, like, when we first read the manga, you could go check our review of the manga back in the archives of Cultured Boys somewhere.
Yeah.
It's probably been well over a year since we reviewed this. Because
know when.
You kind of forget. This is when we were like... This is before we even used to review every single manga in Jump at the end of the year.
We used to handpick certain ones.
Yeah, there'd be ones where like, oh, there's a new manga in Jump, let's read it. And it would be like about maybe 3 or 4 chapters at that point, and then we'd be like, oh, okay, let's see how this goes, or like 10 chapters maybe. Yep. Yeah, so we both did a review of this manga before. We both really enjoyed it. And that was a fair few years ago, because obviously now it's got an anime. And typically, when a manga comes out in Jump, it takes at least like 3 or 4 years for it to actually produce an anime. And this one is a very interesting topic of discussion because there's so many different like talking points about the regions that it's published in. Obviously, it's not your conventional anime as well. This is about Rakugo. But we'll get all into that in this episode. Nathan, do you want to give a breakdown of what this anime is?
Sure. So, Akane Banashi, written by Yuki Suenaga, illustrated by Takamasa Moe, published in Weekly Shonen Jump, February 14th, 2022 to present. 22 volumes as of recording. Animated by Zex. I'm assuming Zexcz.
That's a weird
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
5 episodes on Netflix in the UK. That we'll get into that point later. It's very important and quite strange. Anyway, Akane witnesses a shocking event during her father's career-defining show. Now, what? I just realized that. Now she vows to reach the art's highest right. Okay, that does make sense. Never mind. Just me. Thank you, Netflix. It just looks strange. Like, she vows to reach the high. It just looks weird, doesn't it? Like, there's a comma there.
I think it's a comma, but it's a comma between now in Shirify. Yeah.
It just looks like it's missing a word. Anyway.
It doesn't read like easy. Let's put it that way.
No.
Right. I'm looking at this animation studio as well, and I recognize nothing on it.
Wow. Okay.
I've been looking like there's usually like 1 or 2 that I've even heard of before, and I'm like, oh, there's that thing, or it's like, oh, I've heard of this one before. I'm looking at it, I recognize. Literally, like, there's nothing here that I notice. Even films, there's a backflip theme seems to be a thing, which is like it looks like a gymnastics anime, like something like that. Like that's a thing. I don't recognize anything here. Nothing seems to be that big, but that also may actually factor into one of the points we're making in this episode, and I guess like maybe it's easier to jump straight into it, that this anime has been like a bit of a weird topic, because like where you try and find this, it is different wherever you are in the world. We're in the UK, so we watch it on Netflix, but depending if you're in like Germany, for example, you're watching it on, what is it? Aniverse? Is that what it
Aniverse. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Sorry,
what it
my
says.
internet's quite slow. It's
Aniverse, Germany,
just loading.
Austria, Switzerland.
Yeah.
If you're in North and South America, you can watch it on the official Akane Banashi Global YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's like
If you're in Asia, but not in China or South Korea, you can watch it on Annie One YouTube. Basically, what had happened was when this was being released, for whatever reason, I don't know what the business is behind it, but nobody made a bid. Like no one made a bid for the rights of this show, and it's really strange because now what we got is like the world can watch it, but you need to go and find. It's like it's reminiscent of that graphic of the Pokemon anime, you know, for streaming, and you're like,
yeah.
okay, so
Oh my God,
these sections of the anime are over here, but that part is
yeah.
over there, and that's what this feels
Yes.
like. It's like cool. This one show is in like a million different places because no one place wanted the rights.
Yeah. It's it's a proper strange one. I think especially when like you watch like how we've watched the animes on Netflix, and I'm assuming you've watched all 5 episodes that are currently
Yeah, of
out
course.
at the moment anyway.
Yes.
It is being updated weekly, and right now we're like 5 episodes in. I think the 5th episode dropped yesterday, actually, in fact.
Yeah.
But like it's quite interesting because when the episode ends, it comes up with a list of all like the different credits for each region, and like the first one that pops up is, funny enough, the German cast list. Funnily, when you watch it, and which is even funnier to me because that German cast list is on the end of the credits, but obviously to watch it in Germany you have to go to Aniverse, so it's like, oh, okay, so
I'd imagine that's the credits are like that everywhere then. Like on just all the platforms,
yeah.
it's just every. It's probably easier to just include it all like that instead of like trying to.
I haven't
tailor
actually
it
checked,
to
and
place
I
by
haven't
place.
checked what kind of dubs are on Netflix, apart from obviously the English and Japanese ones.
I haven't.
I haven't looked into it at all.
Speaking of dub, though, you want to know a casting in English that's really strange that I never expected? Akane's dad is played by the Smash announcer Xander Mobis.
Really? Okay.
Yep. Shinta Arakawa is Xander Mobis.
That's
apparently.
a really
right.
I mean, the thing is, obviously, yes, an iconic voice actor for sure, but like for that reason. But I'm also like, what else has Xander actually been in? Like, I actually like no shade to him. It's just Persona. Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he was Joker, but.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, because I remember when Joker got released, it's like, oh yeah, you can just say me.
But like, yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that because I was looking it up and I was like, wait, hang on, wait, are you serious? Because I watched it in Japanese. I watched.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably is like the best. See, I watched the dub, so I didn't realize.
Okay.
I just put it on. I was like, oh, okay, there's an English one here, so you can talk for it from two different perspectives with that. But the thing is, with this anime as well, for those that don't know what rakugo is as well, it is like the art of storytelling. Yes. And it's a very traditional Japanese performance. There's certain traditions that go into it. Like there's so much more. I think we've even talked about it even before in one of the previous episodes that we did. And probably it's a very specific art. Yeah, a very specific episode. And it's one of those things where like. To find this in the West is a very, very, very rare thing. It's like if you told anyone here what I mean, even describing to someone what a manzai is here is like people be like, "What the fuck is manzai?" It all comes down to like it. I wouldn't even want to describe it as comedy. It just feels like a traditional way of Japanese storytelling, which is like such a classic kind of cultural thing in Japan.
Technically comedy. Because it's about making people laugh through the storytelling.
Yeah.
But you're right in saying that it feels weird to call it a comedy because it's not really. It's more the art of the storytelling because it's
you know what it kind of feels like, a one-man show. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
if I was going to describe it in layman's terms, if anyone was like, "What is it?" It's like a traditional one-man show where one person is playing every single character. but they're sat down and they're basically trying to do a
Yeah,
performance.
they are
Basically, that is it.
confined to this cushion, which is their seat. That's it. That's what makes it like even more interesting and difficult. Is they're literally confined to a
You don't
cushion.
have props. You literally just all have your like kind of what a handkerchief is, probably a more traditional word for it, and a fan, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is like what you've got. Those are as far as you go with props, basically. But that is a rundown of what Rakugo is, and obviously this anime is about a young girl starting her career in Rakugo
hmm
after her father is expelled from
By the way,
doing
none
it,
of that is
basically. Yeah.
spoilers. That's all like episode 1. So
That's all in episode 1. So yes, and it's basically just her journey through, and in some ways you can kind of say it's like also like kind of like a revenge tale
yeah,
in the loosest terms of like I want to keep my father's art of Rakugo alive, basically.
there
She
is
learned
definitely
all
element of
like
spite in her motivation
yeah.
for sure.
It's a revenge is a way too of a broad way of describing it. It's
I think it's the most
I
accurate
mean
way though, because
it
I
is
mean,
yeah
like
it's
she does kind of.
yeah, but this isn't like a Sasuke revenge tale. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like I'm going to
She's not.
kill this person.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's just
she
out to
ain't
prove
out for
herself.
murder.
Yeah.
She's just like, I'm going to destroy you with my Rakugo skills.
Yeah, it's more like it's a story of someone trying to prove themselves, like in like their father's place, basically. Father's
Mm.
not dead, by the way. He just quit Rakugo.
Well,
But
forcibly quit,
yeah, like
not
but
through his own choice.
but this is where that story goes, and this is all evolution from that, and like this is how her story goes with it. And obviously, with a typical series like this, which I believe we even talked about in that previous episode, me and Nathan love a a series about a career path
Mm.
and something along those lines. That like we love
We like
Bakuman, which is
atypical battles. It's like learning about a field we have no clue about, and also at the same time there are battles, but
yeah,
in a non-traditional shonen manga way. This like was right up our alley back in the day, and seeing it in motion, I'm I'm very disappointed that not no one wanted to pick up the rights, because
hmm
this kind of thing was cool to see on a page, but
yes,
even better to see in motion.
absolutely. I completely agree with you because this is something that I feel like even as like if you're trying to read it in manga, you're like, okay, I'm kind of getting the gist of it
Mm.
right now, and it's a really engaging story. However, what really delivers this is and I think this is where this in a particular series like this, more of anything, is the voice actor. The voice
Mm.
actor has to be on point with this series.
Oh
And
my
what
god.
this comes from, like you said, is about motion and it is about delivery. And you
Yeah.
can get that through a manga, you can get it, but it thrives in an anime. It absolutely does. It's
A,
so much better, this.
Anime does it so much better, because something like Rakugo, where it's a single person performing, even being told by the characters like more about Rakugo, there's a physicality to the art medium that is hard to portray, obviously, in a still image. So now that you see it like animated, because there's at the end of every episode, they do one of those like little explainer pieces, and like, for example, like the fifth episode at the end, Akane is describing, like telling her friend about the rules and stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. So, like there's one person to the left, there's one person to the right. And you're like, yeah, you can draw that. But also to see her like physically move, turn, and like change the size of her body, like looking up, looking down, like scrunching in, widening up. Like the physicality of it also sells like the performance of a character.
hmm It is something you can do in like, because the way the manga does it is like you said about the left right thing. Like there'll be certain frames or like certain panels in the manga where they are like it's doing it correctly. It's doing
Mm.
everything that they've said in that anime. Like, oh yeah, dude, like, and they'll have it in the same frame. You know what I mean? So it's as if almost as if like when Akane does her performance, it's like she's like talking to herself in one frame, which is quite an interesting.
You know,
way
it'll
of
be like
doing
one
it.
of those panels where there's like multiple of her face,
Yes.
different expressions, but it's like one facing one way, and like it'd be like that.
Yeah,
But like,
it is.
oh man, was the
It's
was
done
the
so much.
was the dub good? Like, was it good for the
I think it's solid. You know, I think it's one of those where obviously when it comes down to telling Japanese stories as well,
Mm.
there's so many things in there that like might mean two things in Japanese but doesn't exactly translate
Mm.
well into English. So I feel like there's some cases where like it probably hasn't translated the best way, but you'll find out when you're reading subtitles anyway.
Yeah.
It's not so much a performance issue, more of a translation thing. But I thought it was a solid dub. I actually quite enjoyed it.
Nice. Very
I can
good.
also imagine for a very authentic experience. I feel like the sub version of it probably would be a better way of going around it. I just kind of like felt like I just like I'm easy. We know that I'm
Yeah.
back and forth when it comes down to sub dub, but like sometimes dub just suits me. It's a day thing, you know. I'm a day on day off.
Fair. I would say yeah, the sub, if you want like the most authentic experience to just try and get a feel for what Rakugo like is traditionally, yeah. It was pretty good. But like yeah, it was good overall. Like it's a God, I can only imagine how like it feels like it for a voice actor. This is like the best and worst job, you know, because it's like, oh
Yes.
wow, I get to really flex all of these muscles. I really get to dig deep, and I get to do all these impressions and things. Like it sounds super fun and super awesome, but you know when you think about it, and you're like, God, that must be tiring. as
You've
fuck.
got to have the range here. This is one thing. It's not just you're playing this one character. You have to play as a character that does impressions. So you have to be like so versatile in how you're playing this. And it's not just, oh yeah, by the way, this is you now playing like an older gentleman. Now, like you're playing this character, but this character does an older gentleman impression. You have to do that older gentleman impression as that character. So it's like you have, not only do you have to be like put on a voice, but you also have to put on a voice that is also like, oh yes, this is me, like doing like a voice hit. There's so many more layers to it.
I
as
think
well.
the worst ones are like, you know, like she tells the one story, Manju, and it's all like a bunch of dudes about the same age.
Yeah,
And you're like, you kind of have to separate those. And it was like, at least in the manga, like, you know, each character is very different personality wise. So like you can really play up on like that. And they did that in the anime too. But like, could you imagine being the voice actor and having to like try to figure out how you're supposed to play one dude who's like real confident, another dude who's maybe not as confident as him but still kind of confident, and then like obviously the easiest one is like the guy who's scared, but then like his group of friends that are all like taking a piss, you're like, but they're all kind of like the same dude. Like how do you distinguish that?
I feel like this is like like you said, a great way to show off your skills, but it's also like a lot more taxing probably in terms of like jobs and stuff like that. It's a lot more of a complicated role. And bear in mind, like neither of us are like professional voice actors, so it could be a completely different.
God no, I wish. I wish. That'd be sick, but
no, but like it could be a completely different thing. Like, but we can imagine the levels that have to go into this. And funny enough, on the topic of sub versus dub, I started watching this under the like thought that, oh, I'm going to be watching all the sub here because there's no way they're going to have dub available for this thing. It's only just come out.
I didn't expect them to have the dub at all.
No. And I was expecting, oh, okay, they've got some dub episodes. That's interesting. I was surprised by that. It's probably one or two, and then the next couple are going to be sub only or something like that. but every single one has a dub thing, which is even more like curious to me. Like, why were there so many publishing issues with this? Um, and then also the fact that they have an English dub ready to go, like off the bat. You know what I mean? Like it's just ready to
Yeah.
go now.
I don't know. It is a really strange one because it's not even like I actually can't find fault in any of it as well.
No.
Like the animation's great. They've
Oh, it's beautiful.
they've
Animation. They
also
do
like
well with it.
they've also done what is one of my favorite things that we've mentioned many a time nowadays talking about anime. They've put in goofiness.
Mm-hmm.
Goofy animated faces and shit. They've done it. And this is perfect for that. Because if they didn't, it'd be a massive disappointment. You know for
Yeah.
a fact. A show like this where one person is playing many people and they're like, don't put a single goofy expression in, you're like, unrealistic.
Yeah. It is. This is like it's the whole topic of this anime suits, and this comes down to the story. This comes down to the animation. This comes down to like everything around it, the performances. Everything feels like it's done incredibly well. All of it feels joined up. None of it feels slow either. Like you've got your typical shonen tropes in case, like, oh, here's this very talented MC who has a rival that they want to beat. They have a motive. They have everything that goes, like they have like a bit where they like, oh, okay, I'm still learning. There's still so much growth that Akane has to do in this, and everything around it, everything about this series feels like it's done really, really well with
Mm.
it, and that like there's some anime out there where you're like, oh, I don't know, the manga's done it better, or like the manga's great. I feel like they've missed the mark on this. Feels like the anime goes above and beyond to make sure they've nailed this.
I think this is a great adaptation of it.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
And from what I remember, I think it's quite loyal as well. Like, I don't really think they've changed anything.
Nah, I feel like it's probably paced a lot better. I think in terms of manga, I think like sometimes I'm not saying the manga's paced bad or whatever, but like the pacing of the episodes anyway feels on point. It feels like like it's done really well. Every episode feels like it has a start and end point, and it leads you on to the next thing. Like I want to see more of this, and I think where I stopped anyway was roughly like episode 3. I think is where I stopped reading. That's how far I got into it. I can't remember if that's because of I caught up at the time and then just stopped, or I just was like, I'm finding it hard to read a bunch of manga right now. I'll stop here as well. But episode 3 is where I stopped reading.
I don't think at the moment the episodes that are available have gotten to where I read. Because in episode 5 they mentioned the Karaku Cup, and I'm pretty sure I read almost all the way to the end of that arc, or all the way to the end of that arc. I read quite a lot of it. I was like keeping up with it for quite a while before I stopped reading manga in general. Yeah, I think I was close to the end of the Karaku Cup, if not the story arc after that. I can't remember.
So like
it's been a
you'll
while.
probably like it might even be there'll probably be I don't know whether it's been established how many episodes there are for this, but typically here you're gonna get 12
I'd imagine
episodes of this kind of
12,
anime.
yeah.
Yeah, and then if you'll get like maybe your mid-season break kind of one where it's like
I don't know, like this might actually just be a 12 episoder. As season 1.
This one right now, well, just on Wikipedia, most reliable sources, is 10 episodes right now. So it could even be just like there's like a handful more. So it could just end up being the Karaku Cup. It might just be that arc there and it ends there, possibly. I don't know how long that goes on for, but yeah.
I mean, like considering the way that distribution has happened, I don't know how you even. Because, like, normally when it's on one place, you're like, cool, that's the metric, right?
Yeah.
Like, the viewership on that, I'm like, but, like, if you have to grab metrics from all over the fucking place, right? Like, how do you decide
I
like
guess
this gets
they'll.
season 2, or do you just greenlight it and just go?
I
You know what
think
I mean? Like,
for this specific case, I think they're gonna be just solely looking at Japan's figures. Only because that is probably where it is going to do the best. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd like to see this succeed in the UK and in the West and
yeah,
wherever. But more likely, especially for like the US, for example, that's on YouTube. Like how,
yeah.
like at least Netflix, you have your like your homepage where it might suggest this to you. Like how likely is this anime on YouTube to fall into people's algorithms? That's a really tough thing to get.
I
Uh, uh,
don't know that it would. I'd
I
assume
think
you either go
it's an
looking
uphill
for
battle.
it, or you happen to come across something like our show, for example, that talks about it, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'll go and
Yeah,
check this thing out. You know what I mean? Like,
it's
unless
a
somebody talks to
proper.
you about it, I can't imagine
No,
YouTube
it'd
is
be word of
serving it to
mouth at the
everyone.
start, and it's solely like it's got an uphill battle in the US for sure. Like at least like as I said, like in the UK and other places that has got that have access to Netflix, at least you got a chance there. You know what I mean? And other
Mm,
anime platforms, even like obviously there's a lot more anime specific streaming services or channels in other
mm.
countries where you can watch this. So it might do particularly well in just a random place. You never know. It's so tough to call for other countries, but I feel Japan would be the main metric they're looking at here for it.
You reckon?
And
Because I mean, like, I
I
know
think
it's
so.
like
Yeah.
more of a Japanese thing, but like thinking about how much of the world is being served this anime on Netflix, I wonder how much that is going to play into. You know what I mean? Like, because that is also a fairly could be a fairly large metric to go by. However, I don't like the odds of that either.
Yeah, my one worry is because like when you look at all these different places, like if a season 2 does come along, a lot of these things like minus America because I feel like America will get these episodes regardless. Like, if anything, it being on YouTube, if it does well in Japan, for example, gets season 2,
Mm.
like you're gonna get that on the YouTube channel for sure. I feel
Yeah.
like there's nothing holding you back from that. It's other places that are licensing it and have to pay money to get this thing, which are like, is it gonna be worth it? And that's your struggle with it. That's where like,
Mm.
oh, season 2 is only available on this specific place or it's in this specific place.
I
So
wonder if
that's
they'll transition to just the YouTube only.
it could be a viable thing. It could be. And I mean, I just hope that it does well because this anime deserves like all the recognition it can get. I know it's a hard sell for people in the West because like you sat there like, what the hell is Rakugo? But then you learn about it through this anime, and this is what the anime does well as well. It gets you into Rakugo and tells you where it is, and you don't feel like you're confused at all with it. You know what I mean?
No.
You don't feel like I don't feel like I'm watching this thing like I don't get that. I don't get that. They do so well to tell you what these stories are before the performer goes into them. So you already know, you're already caught up. You're already
Mm.
up to speed here. You already done this well. And like it this anime is doing everything it can to be like this is what this is. We're literally showing you this thing and it doesn't leave you in the dark whatsoever no matter where you're from. Maybe you're even in Japan, like I don't know, like if Rakugo like is common amongst younger generations. There might even be people in Japan which are like, what's Rakugo? I don't get it, never heard of it before. It could be like
Don't
'cause
know.
different
Not at all.
generations could react it like it's the
Mm.
same here, you know what I mean? Some people have never heard of older media here, so it could even be a thing there. So it does, but what this does, it brings everyone up to speed and it does it well. And that's why I feel like it is, and this doesn't come down to a problem with the content of the show. This comes down to a problem of getting people into the show. That's the only
Mm.
hurdle I feel like this anime faces. Because once you're in, I think freaking brilliant. Love it. You can easily get into this. It makes sense. Everything about this story is good. Like everything, like the way they done
Mm.
it, the animation, the performances, everything is spectacular. It's just getting people into it, which is a tough sell.
That's a really good point. That is a very good point. But you know, I feel like getting someone to try an anime about storytelling
Yeah.
is an easier sell, for example, than half the anime out there. Like, if just on description alone, right? If you boil it down, yeah. If you tell someone, oh, it's an anime about a girl who takes on storytelling as a profession
Mhm.
versus, so it's about a guy who turns into a vending machine. Like, do you know what I mean?
You got
Like,
two different sides of the scale. It's in fairness, if you gave me those two options, it's like it all depends on what kind of anime watcher
I
you are.
mean, yeah.
I think to your like to your people that are like, oh, I don't like anime for all the fan service and all the goofy shit that comes through with it. This is more, if you're gonna get people in something, this is easier
I
to
mean,
get
like,
into.
if you, for example, if you're just trying to get the average person, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they've got no opinion on anime. They don't hate it. They don't love it, but they just have no opinion, right? I'm just saying, like, if you boil it down to some basic points, it's much easier to
Absolutely.
sell than, like, vending machine anime.
Vending machine anime,
Or,
absolutely. Yeah.
like, Food Wars was like, oh, yeah, so they cook, yeah? But then they're
My
naked.
my mind also went to Food Wars as well. Even before you said it, I was like, yeah, imagine trying to sell Food Wars to people. The first episode, everyone was like, nah, fuck this. Yeah,
Like,
I think no, you cannot recommend Food Wars to anyone because it's like, but listen to
Yeah.
me, right? It's the plot, and everyone's
No,
like,
I swear,
yeah,
it is
the
good.
plot,
It is
the
good.
plot.
Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
It's
Seriously,
actually a
though.
really good story. Like,
The
fuck.
cooking, though. But the cooking, though. You ignore the naked people, but the cooking, though.
Yeah.
Serious. Super stereo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a much easier sell for that. And I think like, and this is like certain, this falls into that kind of anime that which you can just for people that just want to hear average like story, not average story, but like a more grounded, based in reality kind of
Yeah.
story, like something that feels like it still delivers a tale of like growth and revenge in some ways, and something that you never heard of before. It delivers this. This is the one thing, and I think it all comes down to like we've said this before in the manga. Like we recommend this series,
Yeah.
but I'm at that point now where I'd be like, oh yeah, I recommend the series, but if you're gonna do it, watch the anime. I think the anime does and that's no shade on the manga because obviously it's a great manga, but I feel like it's an even easier way to get into it if you watch
Yeah.
it.
It's a more enjoyable way to watch it as well. Because again, like the motion, everything really benefits from having animation in this series specifically. I wholly agree with you, to be honest. Also, like I feel like this could also, I'm not gonna say it's gonna reach the heights of other like gateway anime for people, but like
No,
I feel like this could be a handful of people's gateway anime. Like it again, it's not too fantastical. It's quite grounded. It's an easy watch. Again,
Yeah.
if you can get past Rakugo, which I feel like is one of the easier sells
Yeah.
in general.
100%,
But
yeah. Yeah.
but like I feel like this could be a pretty good gateway anime.
I think so. I'd like to see, as I said before, I'd like to see this get more recognition for what it does, and like it is one of Jump's biggest series as well. This is
Yeah.
like where we're at right now. It's been going. Well, how long has the manga been
Again,
going for? At
since
least like
2022.
2022. Yeah, like 4 years, man. So it's one of Jump's biggest series. 22 volumes. Like it's a great, like obviously it's selling. It's doing well,
Yeah.
and it's standing up there with like obviously like your One Pieces, your Kagurabachis, and like all your other like high level
Super
manga
big
right now.
manga, yeah. Like it's
like,
been there, man.
mm.
Akane, like, funny enough, since its release, Akane has often been part of the front covers.
Yeah, like a big staple there. Like it's like you're kind of like I want to put on the same level as I'm gonna say Bakuman again because it's one of the easiest comparisons to draw.
Oh yeah,
Like where Bakuman was in Jump at the time of like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. Obviously, Bakuman one of the big three, but it was always present. You know what I mean? It was always there, like up there. If you're like your Gintamas, like those same level series. And I think what we're seeing here is, yeah, sure, it's not gonna be like as big as like Kagurabachi or Sakamoto Days or Blue Box, for example, or Ichi the Witch, because those are bit like those have a little bit more wider appeal in some ways. Blue Box, again, another harder sell, but it's one of Jump's biggest series. But it's up there. It's a staple right now. Where you're having your new weekly Jump staples, this is there. Like, whether you can understand Rakugo or not, however you jumped in the series, this is up there. I don't know where the state of the manga is right now, because like when you get to 22
idea.
volumes, some series end around this time as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think like Nisekoi, which was a staple back then, that lasted 22 volumes. Like, there's certain ones like
Well, I mean, also like sometimes, I mean, especially nowadays, like even sometimes you don't even need to look at the volume number. For example, like 2022, 4 years, some mangaka are just like, some modern stories have just been ended because they're done. They just have
20
no more
chapters.
stories to tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like, even if it's not like cancelled, but you know what I mean? Like some of the longer quote unquote running series, they just straight up like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm just done. Like 5 years in and I'm good.
I think like that's like one of those ones, isn't it, where this is one of those series where you can see it. If it ever did want to end, they could end it wherever they wanted to. They don't need to keep dragging this series out a long time either. Like, there's a goal there, but how are you going to get that character to this point, and how long does that story last with it? It doesn't. And like, this could be a story where it's like, this is just the mangaka's done what they needed to. They've told their story, and they're like, I'm happy with this now. I'm going to end it here.
I mean, like, for example, there's a very easy like finish point, because they established quite early on like the three ranks of a Rakugoka, and you could easily just go, oh, she passed the promotion exams, she got all the way to the top, she's a Shinichi, and it's like done, finished.
You could easily just have five major story arcs there, and then you're like sorted, and you know what I mean? That's all you kind of need of it. And it could genuinely be like that. But yeah, I just hope that we get more of this. I know we've got we haven't even finished the first season yet, but obviously me and Nathan will probably keep up to date with this, and we'll probably finish it as well.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. I have to see more of it. I also would love to have my memory jogged on how far I actually got.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's honestly, I think it all just comes down to, like we said with the manga episode, we'd recommend this. Is there anything else you want to say, Nathan, on this anime? That's all.
I quite enjoyed the opening and ending songs.
Funny enough, with the opening and ending songs, I feel like they're catered very much to the anime itself. You know, like there's a style.
I mean, the ending song specifically, it's even called Akane on My Mind. So
yeah. feels like it's definitely written. I don't know. Like sometimes I don't know how ending and opening songs get pitched to do an anime opening or ending, whether they're written beforehand or written specifically the thing. I feel like there's probably different things for different
I think
animes.
It probably varies, right? Yeah.
This one feels like if they came to the, oh my god, this ending song is perfect, you have to use it. But there's certain ones though where like that this opening and ending feels so catered to this anime as well. Like the style of the music, I mean, like everything that works with it.
The opening song feels like it's, I don't know specifically what time period, but I want to say probably like, feels kind of like a 60s, 70s kind of Japanese song.
It feels classic. You know what I mean? It feels like a classic anime opening song.
And then clearly the ending is like kind of city popish.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I'm very much in my city pop era right now.
I'm not gonna lie. When I heard that ending, I was like, he's gonna love this.
Yeah,
he gonna love this.
I was like, this is driving music, bro. I can hear this. But no, solid openings and endings, and I like the visuals really for it as well. I think the visual for the opening feels like
there was like one section of the opening that lives rent free in my mind because of the goofy expressions. It's the part where she starts clapping and she's doing that dance,
yeah.
and then they end doing this pose, and she's got the weirdest, goofiest
It's
face.
the-
It's that kind of like
the two-
kabuki stance.
Yeah, and then the other 5 join in as well. They're all doing a little dance as well. And I'm like watching it each time, like I want to see each person's different face.
So specifically last night when I was watching episode 5, I spent 10 minutes like hitting play pause trying to watch it, but it happens too fast that specifically the delay between hitting play pause on my remote and Netflix was too much that the frame kept rolling over and I had to give up.
I know exactly the way I do this, right? I've done this because there's so many like One Piece openings, for example, do this really well, where there's like slight second frames where you're like, that feels like something there, and then you slow it down to 0.5 or something like that. So you're watching it, this thing go so slowly, but then you're also like leant forward, like I'm waiting for it, I'm going to try again, and you try and pause it, and then you're like, fuck, missed a thing. So like, I've been there before where I've literally just been like, I need to see what reference this is, and I've been to that point on YouTube where I slow it down so much. I'm like, I want to see it. The song sounds awful when you slow it down that much because it's obviously
I'd imagine anything sounds awful when you slow it down to 0.5.
Yeah, and it's like all kind of like weirdly like almost feels compressed at times. You're like, it sounds awful, but I'm waiting for that one frame. I'm waiting for that one frame. But then you scroll too far back and then you're in the slow-mo. You're like, okay, no, I have to wait for like about 10
that
seconds.
is actually so what was happening last night was the rewind went to when she's by herself. So
yes,
I would go back to where she's by herself clapping, doing the dance, and then I would sit there holding my remote, like just waiting. Like you said, I sat there like focused hard as anything, like waiting, like I'm gonna get it. And I would always pause like a frame or two too early, and then as soon as you unpause and it rolls out, you're like, no!
Yeah, and then I gotta go back and do it again.
Again, I did it for 10 minutes and then
it's
I gave up.
such a stupid thing.
I know, right?
I gotta see
faces though.
Yeah, I've got to do this thing. I've got to do it. Oh my god, yeah. Fucking love that kind of stuff though. It's so jokes. But yeah, no, opening and endings are good. Again, it just keeps adding to like why this series should be checked out completely.
Just go and watch it.
Yeah, it is. It is literally.
Find out where you can go and watch it, because the specificity of certain regions and certain locales does make it a bit strange to just. Well, I say strange. Difficult to just go and watch it. But go and watch it.
If you're on YouTube, we'll have the graphic up here and it will have all the information of like what region you're in, what country you're in, and it will have that there. Hopefully it's correct. So it might have changed since this graphic got released from the official the official Akane.
I mean, I would hope you can just, regardless of whatever region, you could probably just check the YouTube channel, but I don't know.
Hopefully. Well, yeah, we'll see. But have a look at those. All the things are here right now. So please check them out visually. But yes, I think we'll probably wrap this episode up here now anyway. But let us know your thoughts on the Akane Banashi. Did you read it? Did you watch it? What do you think of the opening? Let us know in those comments. Thank you for listening, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button for future Cultured Boys videos. Check the links in our description. We have our podcast platforms down there. And we see you guys next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.